Daniel Sports Central, we go over a March Madness game preview and prediction on the Sweet 16 matchup between the Creighton Blue Jays and the Princeton Tigers. Huge match for both teams coming up here in the Sweet 16. You got Creighton. This is a team that I consider to be one of the most dangerous teams remaining in this tournament. They're a balanced team that honestly at this point could beat anyone, and they're taking on Princeton, the Tigers. Likely the big Cinderella team of this tournament. I mean, this is a 15 seed. Who would have seen Princeton in the Sweet 16? But here we are, and they're taking on Creighton for a shot at the Elite Eight. We'll be covering a full game preview and prediction on this match group today, starting with your team trends. Creighton took down Baylor. 85-76 was the final. A really solid win there for Creighton. They were in control for the majority of that game. And the Bears are a solid team, too. I mean, that's a team that did struggle defensively at times this season. But in the end, Creighton got a really impressive win. And Princeton on the other side, this team dominated Missouri, 78-63 being the final. This team has really played at a high level so far in this tournament. They also beat Arizona, of course, in the first round. Many had Arizona going deep in this tournament. But Princeton knocked them off 59-55. So this team, another 15 seed. We saw this with St. Peter's and Oral Roberts the year before. Now it's Princeton right here in 2023. Games be on Friday, March 24th in Louisville, and your tip-off is 9 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going Creighton here by 9.5. So the Blue Jays are favored by a decent amount here, which, I mean, you can't be surprised. I mean, the Blue Jays being the 6th seed, Princeton being the 15. I mean, Princeton's made an incredible run so far. But it does make sense to see the Blue Jays favored somewhat heavily in this matchup. Over-under is 140.5. And the BPI is going with Creighton, 89.6%. Your tournament runs for both teams. Creighton, of course, did knock off NC State in the first round, 72-63. That was also a really impressive win. And we talked about the win against Baylor. And for Princeton, knocked off Arizona and Missouri in back-to-back games. Your stat comparison, Creighton averages 77 points a game. They allow 69 on average, right around there. And their BPI rank is 11. In comparison to Princeton, you look at Princeton's BPI rank, 117. That's what you see with these Cinderella teams, and the BPI, they're just ranked super low. But I mean, it's truly how you're playing at the time, and both teams are, I'd say, on a fairly even playing field if you're looking at how the teams are playing right now. I mean, Creighton's playing really well. I mean, the Blue Jays are hot, but also, I mean, so is Princeton. They literally just coming off of a dominant win over Missouri, and they also knocked off Arizona in the first round. So both teams are definitely playing, I'd say, their best ball of the season at the right time, that's for sure. And you look at Princeton, averaging 76 points a game and allowing 69. Both teams are fairly similar when it comes to points per game. Your notable matchups, Creighton, they lost to Texas by 5 at one point this season, also lost to Arizona. Both games are really close, and both teams were 2 seeds, or are 2 seeds in this tournament. Texas is still in, and of course, Arizona got knocked out to guess who? Princeton. And Xavier, Creighton won a game against them, but did lose 2, and they split the series against UConn and then Providence. As for Princeton, this team hasn't played a tournament team, or didn't play a tournament team during the regular season. I mean, probably the best team that they played this season, at least in the regular season / the Ivy League tournament, was Yale, and they were 1-2 against them this season. They lost Iona by 6. They swept Penn 3-0. They also beat Cornell twice, and they were 1-1 against Brown this season, split the series against them as well. Your key points, Creighton 23-12. This is a complete, well-rounded team. I mean, you look at Ryan Kalkbrenner, you look at Baylor Shireman. I mean, this is a team that is well-rounded. And the thing is about this team is they don't have much depth. They've got a really strong starting 5. I mean, that's not an issue. I mean, when this team is playing their best, they can play at a very high level. It's just they don't have too much depth, and that's something that has been the main concern for this team heading into this tournament, and has been kind of a something that has, in some minds, held Creighton back from making a deep run here. But this team is on the verge of being in the Elite Eight. This team has gotten it done so far in this tournament. But for Princeton, this is a dangerous team. I mean, you look at those Cinderella teams that have outstanding runs. St. Peter's last season. St. Peter's was dangerous last year. And obviously Princeton is a very different team, but this team is, they're still talented and they're still dangerous. And I mean, they can beat anyone. This team has knocked off Arizona, and they've dominated Missouri to this point. I mean, Creighton's got to be ready for this game. You can't be sleeping. I mean, you know, you just beat a 3 seed in Baylor, a huge win. But now you got Princeton, a 15 seed. a low seed in this tournament, but they're still just as dangerous as Baylor is. And that said, let's get the prediction here for Creighton and Princeton coming up here in the Sweet 16. And I got to go with Creighton in the end here. 75-68 is my predicted final score. I just think in the end, I mean, Creighton just has the advantage. Their starting five is too dominant. I think this is where the road ends for Princeton. I mean, it's been a great run for them. 2 outstanding wins in this tournament. But Creighton I just feel like they're the better team. They've been excellent so far in this tournament. I mean, they dominated against Baylor. I thought Baylor had a good chance to knock off Creighton there. And, I mean, the Blue Jays got it done, scored 85. They had no issues winning that matchup. I mean, they dominated. So, Creighton, I got them winning this game 75-68. They're just playing too well right now. I'm going to say 60% towards Creighton. I do think Princeton, I'm optimistic. I think they hang in there and make this a game. But in the end, I just like Creighton. Over-under's 140.5. I'm taking the under and Princeton to cover the spread in the end. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.